going to talk about metrics and measurement, but we're not going to talk about campaign metrics and measurements, because those are pretty well established, right? You know how many visitors you have, and you know click-through rates and bounce rates and time on page and all those great things. We're going to look at measurement as it relates to your brand and how you use it to inform your brand strategy and how you communicate that to your audience. So I think many of you can relate to this. This is how we used to do it. How many people did we hire? Where did we hire them? And where did they come from, right? And let's look for some trends and see, oh, well, we're making a lot of agency hires in our financial group, and wow, SEO is working really well in these locations or these businesses. And that was like, okay, that's really cool. But it didn't give us any insight at all about what was going on. It's about people we already hired. Well, that's great. I like to know about the people I hired, but I want to know about my audience out there, the people I'm having trouble reaching. I want to look at data sources that tell me about what people think about my brand, okay? Everyone knows about focus groups. I'm sure everyone does focus groups. I'm sure everyone does them less frequently than they'd like to because they're so expensive and time-consuming. So we said, all right, we can't do a lot of focus groups. We do them probably once every 3 or 4 years. How can I use other sources of data? We latched onto candidate surveys, okay? And we use that as a significant source of data about our brand, right? Now, surveys are rife with potential for errors. Okay. How you write the questions, what choices you give people, biases. I mean, there's all sorts of amazing things, confusing correlation with causation, all those types of, right? All important things that we need to recognize as a trap when we look at surveys. But the benefits so outweigh it in terms of how easy it is to administer, how frequently we can do it, how we can get feedback, and how I can segment that data. We do 3 surveys. Okay? We survey our applicants, people who apply for a job, regardless of what happens to them. So every quarter we survey people who applied for a job within the past 2 to 6 weeks. Okay? And so that means we look at probably, you know, was that 16 out of 52, so approximately 20%, call it, of our annual applicants. Pretty significant. We do it again for everyone who interviews with the company, whether or not they get the job. I don't care whether they get the job. In fact, we're probably more interested in people who didn't get the job and what they're saying about Thomson Reuters after that experience. We look at their interview experience. We talk about any change in their brand awareness, because that gives us an idea of how effective our recruiters and our hiring managers are about communicating our brand, because they're huge ambassadors, and frankly, they're going to have the biggest impact on our brand. We look for a change in Net Promoter Score. Did that change from before? And we interview our hiring managers, which I think is a pretty standard process around our recruiter capabilities, quality of slate, things like that. Metrics are critical in telling your story, but know why you want to measure something. Don't measure it for the sake of measuring it. We do that a lot in talent acquisition. Okay, we measure time to fill, right? Why in the world are we measuring time to fill? There's some reasons, but why do you want to use it? We want to guide our strategy. We want to identify improvement areas, and it's great for shock value. Keep it simple. It does not have to be complicated. Not at the beginning. Start simple. Measure it often. Don't spend a lot of money, and you'll do it and you'll use it. If you make it complicated, if you have to do focus groups to do all your stuff, you're not going to do it very often because you can't afford to do it very often. Consider carefully the questions you want to ask and how it drives your strategy forward. And if you can, identify prepackaged data that you can leverage, okay, and that's valuable. And then lastly, act. We measure this so we can do something. We measure this so we can tell a story, get the funding, and do something. Right? There's a set of steps there. Don't waste your time. And get from your senior leadership what they want to know, and what they want to hear about, because then you'll capture their interest.